Oh my God, I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I was just talking. Okay, I'm sorry. I muted. No, when Beautiful Hug put up the phone, she accidentally touched and muted my mic. I am so sorry. Oh, so y'all missed a whole lot. Okay, so what was I saying? Basically, I was just introducing myself and I was telling you guys what we're going to talk about tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about the new policies that are in effect in Gambia and Nigeria. And we're going to talk about those, what those mean to someone like me who is a historian, because to someone like me that's a historian, that's historical. That's like significant. That's like something that signifies a change is in the air. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get this mic. Okay. It signifies there's a change in the air. The tide is turning. All right. So we're going to talk about that. So as I was saying, I was introducing myself. My name is Nigeria. I talk about my travels to Africa. I also talk about immigration. I talk about different policies. Well, this one is a policy show. And I also talk about, I do talk about different policies. I remember I talked about immigration policies. Also, what do I talk about? My travels to these different countries. All right. I also talk about things that impact our community, the repack community, people who are interested in going back to Africa. I talk about that also. So now the people know who I am who've never been here before. Professionally, my background is in public administration and education. So I'm pretty good with research. Research happens to be my forte. I really enjoy it. So that's one of the things that I do a lot of. And that's how I learned how to do it when I was in class. So now we are going to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to jump right into it. So tonight we want to talk about what's going on in Gambia and Nigeria. In case you missed it, two big things happened in Gambia and in Nigeria. All right. There was policy changes. And these policy changes are going to impact Europeans. That's significant. All right. And why that's significant is because normally you don't see that in Africa. You don't see, we're going to talk about West Africa. Normally you don't see that in West Africa. You don't see these policy changes that are so significant that they just impact Europeans like that. They normally don't do that. So for two countries in the same month to do that, that was really important. Now, why that was important, let's talk about that, because I'm sure y'all want to know, well, why is that important? Oh, I want to tell you where I got the information from. Okay, this information comes from primary sources. I get it from, most of this came from newspaper articles, online newspaper articles, and video. So I began researching this topic maybe a couple days ago. I just found out about it. So I was like, oh, let me talk about this. This is really interesting. So that's where I got the information from, that topic. Okay. So we're going to talk about, let me tell you the official title. The official title is, did Nigeria and the Gambia really tell the Europeans I'm cool on you? Now, what that means for people who don't know what that means that they actually say, okay, let's just kind of back off and let's just kind of, change our relationship a little bit. That's what that means. Let's see if we can, remodify this relationship from the way it was to something different, because that's what they're trying to do, modify this relationship into something else. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So Gambia was the first one to come out, and Gambia tells them, I'm just going to read you the title of the article. The Gambia tells UK grandmothers to seek toy boys elsewhere. Okay. It says this West African nation hopes to shed its reputation as a haven for European sex tourists. All right. They want the government to lend them a hand. So this is what Gambia did. So let's analyze what they did. So first, Gambia comes out and says, we don't want the European government grandmothers coming to the Gambia any longer, taking advantage of our young men, using them as boy toys. Okay. So if you don't know what a boy toy is, a boy toy is just somebody that you come, you have sex with, you're intimate with, but you really don't want anything serious from that person. You don't really want any commitment. You don't really mean anything serious for that person. You're just using that person to get what you want, pretty much. All right. So that's what a boy toy is defined. How you define a boy toy, and they're usually significantly younger. So this is what they're telling the UK grandma. That's what they're calling these tourists, the grandma. That they don't want them to come because, they're just using these young Gambian men, and they don't want the reputation as being known for that type of country. They don't want people thinking, okay, if I want to go and, have indiscriminate sex with as many men, young men as I want to, I'm going to go to the Gambia. They don't want that reputation anymore. They're done with that. So they're saying they want the UK government to help them to stop this. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about. Later on that month, maybe 2 weeks after the Gambians made their announcement to the grandmothers in the UK, we don't want y'all to come. And they wasn't just talking about them. In the articles, they were saying the Europeans. They switched from UK grandmothers to European grandmothers. Okay, so they're talking to the European grandmothers who are coming there. All right. So then 2 weeks later, Nigeria decides, okay, I don't know if they decided 2 weeks. No, this has been in the making for a while. Nigeria comes out. That's what I'm going to say. We find out about it 2 weeks later. Nigeria comes out and they say in August, they say that they are kicking all foreign models out of their media, out of their marketing and advertising. Now, just imagine that. Just let that sink in. You cannot do voiceovers anymore. You cannot. We cannot use your pictures. We cannot do anything with Europeans in media in Nigeria. And you got to remember how big, we're going to talk about in a few minutes, how big that Nigerian market is. Nigeria's market is huge because you got to remember how many Nigerians there are. And they're all watching TV. So they're all watching your advertisement. So everybody wants to advertise. And these voiceovers were British voiceovers. They weren't with the Nigerian accent. So now they don't want that anymore. So just think what that's going to mean for those European artists, voiceover peoples and models and people who were doing marketing in Nigeria. Just think what that means. Just think what that means for them. So when I was thinking about all this, I was thinking, okay, so is this West Africa letting the world know that they're moving towards a sense of nationalism? Because that was one thing that I noticed. I always noticed when I would be around Africans, they would talk about their ethnic group, but it was like they really had no pride in being like a Congolese. They had no pride in being like a Cameroonian. They had no pride in being like a Nigerian. They had no pride in being like a Gambian. They didn't see themselves as Gambian. You know what I mean? And that was, they didn't have a sense of nationalism. It was more they had a sense of their ethnic group was dominant, not the nation. And I always felt like that was what would cause issues. And that's what was causing and would always cause issues, mainly in West Africa, because the ethnic group would dominate the country. You see what I mean? So let me give you an example. So the ethnic group, the Fulani ethnic group, all right, there's the Fulani Hausa ethnic group, which is a mixture of Fulani and Hausa. So much so that it's formed an ethnic group that they call Fulani Hausa. Fulani Hausa. Then there's the nation Nigeria. If there's an issue that's affecting the Fulani Hausa and an issue affecting Nigeria, the nation, the Fulani Hausa people are going to represent for the issue that is affecting and impacting their ethnic group first, before they represent the issue that's affecting the nation of Nigeria, if that makes sense to you. Okay. Now, when you're trying to operate as a nation in an international market, you cannot operate as ethnic groups. You have to operate as a nation. You have to have that sense of nationalism. And I always felt like that's what was missing in West Africa, was that sense of we're one. You know, this is our country. We represent this country. So when I saw these policies coming into play, my historical mind starts thinking, wow, is West Africa moving towards a sense of nationalism? So let me define it for you officially so you'll know what it means. So nationalism is the identification with one's own nation and support for its interests. Now remember what I just told you. The Fulani Hausa, their interest and their identification is with Fulani Hausa first and foremost, not the nation of Nigeria. But a person who's a nationalist, their ethnicity comes second, their nation. I am a Nigerian, that comes first. I am a Gambian, that comes first. Like I'm an American, then I'm an African American. Because that's how the world sees it. So you can see yourself any way you want to. But when you go out into this world, you travel internationally, you're going to realize that the world sees you as an American, and then then you're a Black. They call you a Black American. They don't see us as African because they can't make the connection that it's a genealogical connection. It's a DNA connection. It's an ancestral connection. They don't understand that. They think we don't live there, but they don't understand the connection. So they just call us Black Americans. But like I said, but first and foremost, you are an American. So that's the thing I saw that was lacking so many times. Well, when I would go and talk to my African friends, when I would go and talk to, talk to them about politics, talk to them about unity in their country, that would be the main thing that I saw that was missing. It was no, let's stand up for the country. It was never that, it was let's stand up for the ethnic group. So these policies are more, let's stand up for the country, like the reputation of the country. Like Gambia wants to stop this because they want to stand up for the reputation of the country. Nigeria wants to stop it because they want to give jobs to their young people. They want their young people are starting to identify with being Nigerian. And they feel like European accents, British accents does not represent Nigeria. So that's what I think is going on. So that's how you define nationalism. And so it says, especially to the exclusion or the determinant of the interests of other nations. All right. So that means they're not going to put another nation before them, or they're not going to let another nation just come in and just do what they want. All right. So now, again, I told you where I got the information. Started a couple of days ago. All right. So do we got any questions so far? Yeah, we didn't have sound for a while, y'all. I'm sorry. It was because of, and it looks like the Wi-Fi is bad. Looks like the Wi-Fi is going in and out. But we didn't have sound for a while. Oh, this looks like this is good. Okay, the Wi-Fi was going in and out. The signal looks weak. I don't know why. Maybe because it's raining. But anyway, I hope y'all can hear me okay. So we got the mic up. So do we got any questions so far? Hey, how you doing? No, so it was me. My niece accidentally muted the phone. So what we're going to do when I start the replay, I'll go in and tell everybody where to start at. Okay? So let's continue because this is a lot of stuff I want to get through real quick. So what happened? So we're going to talk about Gambia first. So let me know if y'all can't hear me, or let me know if it keeps freezing. I don't even know why it keeps freezing. All right, so what happened? On or around August 18, 2022, right? There was an article that appeared in the Sunday Times. This article explained that the Gambia has announced that it wants to shed its reputation as a sex tourism hotspot. All right? Yeah, y'all heard me. They don't want to be known. And y'all forgive me if I start laughing because this was just so funny to me. I couldn't believe they said that. I couldn't believe they actually said we don't want to be known as a sex tourism hotspot. But yes, they don't want to be known as that. All right. They said they feel like older women are traveling from Britain and Europe. Okay, so it's not just Britain, it's Europe also in search of younger men. The officials want this new policy to instead, they want to attract tourists that's going to focus on coming to West Africa to enjoy the culture. You know, like when I go to West Africa, I go for this. Excuse me, I told y'all this is just like funny to me, and I'm trying not to laugh. I'm trying to hold it in, okay? Because it's just hilarious that you actually enacted a policy that says this, all right? So when I go to West Africa, I go for the spiritual aspect. I go for the cultural aspect. I just can't imagine going there for sex tourism. I just can't imagine that because for one, they got going to Africa. For one, everybody will know your business. Once you get there, once you go where you're going to stay, everybody knows who you are. Okay, everybody's going to watch what you do, and everybody's going to talk about what you do, whether you know it or not. So that's why I'm shocked that people go to Africa, West Africa anyway, and participate in these types of activities because you won't be respected in the community. And I don't know if they just go and they don't ever plan on going back or they don't ever plan on being connected with the people in the community. Maybe it's that, so they don't care. Maybe it's like, you know, I'm just going to go to this place one time. These people will never see me again, you know, and I'm going to just do what I want to do. But not according to what these studies were saying. These women seem to go back every year. So people know what you do. So that's the part that was alarming to me. That just is not even socially acceptable. Nowhere in West Africa is that socially acceptable. And I'm not talking about the older women and the younger men. I'm talking about the sexual tourism. I'm talking about exploiting people for sex. That is not socially acceptable anywhere in West Africa. All right. So the officials, you know, like I was saying, they want to attract someone who's coming there more to learn about the country, to learn about the culture. Because like I told you when I was in Gambia, Gambia is a very beautiful country. It's extremely, this is all the ones that I gave. Okay, thanks. Okay, well, Gambia is a very beautiful country, okay? But this reputation of sex tourism, I'm going to admit to you, it is a distraction. It is a distraction, and it's something that is bothersome, okay? Because when I'm there, I notice it. I notice it. And I notice it to the point where it bothers me. I'm just going to be honest with you. It bothers me. And it's not the grandmas. Well, I'm not going to say it's not them because some of them, those bother me. And what bothers me about it is because it's not a natural. You can look at it and see this isn't natural. It's not like, oh, they met, they fell in love. You know, I'm trying to say this as gentle as possible. I don't want to hurt people's feelings because I feel like everybody should be able to have fun and everybody should be able to enjoy themselves and everybody should be able to live their lives. But the problem is when your life exploits someone else's life, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay? When my enjoyment means I'm going to exploit you, that's when it becomes a problem. So That's what the Gambian government is saying, that your enjoyment is exploiting our most vulnerable people in our population, which is our young people. Okay, and I'm just going to be completely honest, and it's true. It's the young people, because these people are 20 something. These are the 20 something year olds. Okay, and this is what they're doing to make money, because there's no job. And the jobs that are in Gambia, they don't pay that much. But you got to remember, Gambia is a developing nation. It is not developed. It's not the United States. It's not the UK. It's not Australia. It's not the Netherlands. It's not. It's a baby. It's in its infancy compared to these countries. So if they lose this most vulnerable part of their population this early in the game, who's going to build the country? Who's going to lead the country? These people who are running now, they're middle-aged people who are running the country now. They're middle-aged people. They can't stay in office forever. 20 years from now, they're going to need a whole new set of leaders. And if these new set of leaders have been exploited while they're young, because they're not going to school, they're not going to the universities, they're not getting involved in community development. Because see, normally when you're in Africa, you're involved in your community. At a certain age, you become involved in your community. You become a leader in your community, especially if you're a man. Even the women, they have community meetings where they get together and they plan things and they organize things. But if you're participating in sex tourism, you're not doing any of this. You're not. So who's developing the community? And you got to remember, West Africa is all about passing on tradition. West Africa is all about keeping the tradition alive. And how do we do that? We pass it on to the young people. But these young people aren't trying to hear it because they're participating in the trade. The new trade. Isn't that something, y'all? The new trade. The sex tourism trade. So, again, Abubakar Kamara, he's the director of the Gambian Tourism Board. He says they want a different quality of tourism. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying we want a different type of tourism. They're not putting these people down. They're not saying, you know, you're a bad person, you shouldn't be doing this. They're not saying any of that. They're just saying for Gambia, what we want for Gambia, our master plan for Gambia is not this type of tourism. We appreciate you coming here. We appreciate all of that. And we thank you. But at this point, we got to part ways because we don't like what we're seeing. And that's being open and honest and transparent about the situation. But to be open, really, it's not just them, y'all. Everybody know it's not just the grandma. It's not just the grandma who's participating in this. It's not just them. They want to continue, Mr. Kamara says, he wants tourists that come to enjoy the country and the culture. He said, but not tourists that come just for sex. I told y'all. I've been to Africa 11 times, 3 different countries. I told y'all. They don't like that. They don't like that. Because ultimately, West Africa is conservative. Very conservative. Very conservative. This wildness, I'm going to go over there and do this. You know, if you do, they're going to talk about you really, really bad. Really, really bad. And you don't want that. Because this has been going on for 20 years now. But that's another thing. They're real accepting of different cultures. So see, they accepted this behavior for 20 years because they're not judgmental. That's another thing about West Africa. They don't like to be judgmental. They're very accepting of you and your way, except when your ways start to impede upon their way. All right. So I figure this is what they're seeing now. Okay, you've done this for 20 years. You've been coming here for 20 years with this behavior. Now we're seeing the impact of this behavior. Our young people are not our young people anymore. Our young people are changing. Our young people have different ways, have different habits. We don't understand that. Our young people are disrespectful now. Our young people aren't respecting the holidays like they used to. And I'm not saying this is what's going on in the Gambia, but I'm saying this is what usually happens when you introduce younger people to a different culture, especially a culture that's more, I'm not going to say it, it has different values, different social norms than your own. Okay? And these younger people will see our social norms as, hey, this is it. This is because we have freedom. We have a lot of freedoms. And in West Africa, you don't have that many freedoms like that. And that was one thing one of my friends told me. He said, I really like your country, but the problem I see in your country is that you guys have too many freedoms. And I said, what do you mean? He said, in your country, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. You can be whatever you want to be, you can go wherever you want to go, and nobody cares. He said, when you're free like that, there's no accountability. And that's when things go wrong in your culture. And he's right. He's absolutely right. That is the one thing that I can say that he was right about, is that we do, in some aspect, have way too many freedoms. Like the freedom of 18, you're grown in the United States. And you can talk to your parents any kind of way you want to. And you can walk out the house and you can do whatever you want to because you're grown at 18. And everybody knows at 18, you are not grown. You are not grown. You're just big enough to get yourself in trouble. But look at the difference. In West African traditional beliefs, they don't believe you're grown until you're 40 years old. Yeah, that's when the spirit world says, this is an adult. This person has matured to adulthood, and now this person has to take responsibility for their actions. Before that, you can make all kinds of mistakes you want to. As long as you ask for forgiveness, you can keep it moving. But when you get to 40, that's when there's severe repercussions for your actions. Like my hand. Let me tell y'all about that. I was opening a can. Long time ago, it was months ago. No, it was years ago. I was praying and it came to me that you have to listen to what the Spirit, when the Spirit guides you to do something, you have to follow it. And if you don't follow what the Spirit guides you, as the Spirit guides you, those repercussions are going to hurt you. You're going to get hurt from it, okay? So every time I don't listen to my inner voice when it tells me to do something, either I miss out on something or I get hurt or I almost get hurt. All right, so my hand, let me tell y'all what happened. So I was tired. I came home from work late. I was real tired, but I wanted some salmon croquettes. I wanted them for breakfast. So I said, I'm going to try to make them anyway. Normally, I don't cook when I'm tired because I mess up. All right. So I had the can. I couldn't find a can opener. So I had the sharpest knife in the house, yo. First problem, why would you get the sharpest knife in the house? And it was a big, like, butcher's knife. Holding the can like this. I'm doing this hard as I can. Trying to hurry because I want to eat and I want to go to bed. Y'all hear my little voice say, you better stop because you're going to stab yourself. I said out loud, y'all, I said, I'm not going to stab myself. Next thing, I took that knife out, thought I was stabbing it in the can. Guess where it went? Right through my hand. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. If I would have followed what the Spirit told me and stopped right then, because it was open enough, I had to just work with it. I could have got it open, but no. I was stubborn and I wasn't listening. But these are the spiritual aspects, things that you learn when you go to Africa, okay? Because I read these in books, but I really didn't understand all this until I started visiting Africa, having friends in Africa, going to their home, experiencing the culture, talking down, going to, they have a lot of outdoor cafes in Cameroon and in Nigeria. In Nigeria doesn't call them cafes, they call them sports bars. Nigeria has a lot of sports bars. Now, Cameroon has a lot of cafes. In these cafes and these sports bars, you meet a lot of people. You sit there and you talk to the people and you learn a lot about the culture. You learn a tremendous amount about the culture. But if you're participating in sex tourism, you're not going to do that. Your whole trip is going to be different. Your whole vibe is going to be different, and you're going to miss out on so much because West Africa is about so much more than animals and sex tourism. Okay? So that's what he's saying. He wants you to enjoy the culture and the country, the beauty, where you can see that God is alive. Because if you don't believe in God, when you go to West Africa, you will. You'll know there's no way this could have just happened. There's no way this perfect sunset could just happen. There's no way that I could just happen to be sitting under two rainbows, double rainbows, where I can see I've never seen the arch in the rainbow, you guys. Never. But where did I see it at? In the Gambia. Where did I happen to just be sitting? And I was sitting underneath the arch of the two rainbows, the double rainbows, in Gambia. That's what I'm telling you. In Africa, in West Africa, you will see God is real. The thunderstorms let you know God is real. When I was in Cameroon, every night before I went to sleep, when I was in Boya, there's Mount Cameroon. I kid you not. Just get nervous talking about it. That volcano is active, all right? Every night, that volcano, you can hear the stomach growling like it's hungry. And then all of a sudden, you can look up at the mountain, the volcano, and you see the volcano, and it's erupting, and the red stuff, lava, is coming out. And you know that's God. You know that's God. So that's what you're missing out on when you go there for sex tourism or when you go look at the animals. Animals are beautiful, don't get me wrong, that's God also. But there's so much more. There's so much more. There's so much more. And that's what the Gambia tourism director, Mr. Kamara, wants you to understand about Gambia. There's so much more to Gambia than just that. And it is, because I've been there twice. And it's beautiful. It is the nature, the natural beauty in Gambia is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And how little it costs to experience these things. Y'all see where I had lunch? Y'all see where I would just go and just kick it? The most beautiful places in the world are in the Gambia. Cost you little to nothing. Little to nothing. But guess what? If I was a sex tourist, you think I'd be doing that? You think I'd be exploring to see how beautiful this country was? Do you think I know that these people that I meet in Senegambia are not the real Gambians? Yeah, they're from Gambia, but they're not the real, they don't represent Gambia. Gambia people are nothing like that. Gambia people are nothing like what you experience in Senegambia. If that's where you spend all your time, then you have not yet to experience Gambia. You have not yet to experience that. And to experience Gambia is totally different. It is totally, totally different than what you experience in Senegambia. The whole vibe is different. The whole vibe is different. Gambia is a laid-back country. It's laid back, but it's conservative. You know what I mean? It's very conservative, but it's very laid back. Very laid back and very conservative at the same time. If that. But that, what you see over there, the sex tourism and all that goes on, you don't see that in it. You don't see that when you go to the community. When you go to the community, you do not see that. So that's what he said. He said he hopes to attract tourists that come to enjoy the country and the culture. All right. Now, this new law, this is the part we're going to talk about, because I want to know how they're going to enact this law. It's supposed to be a law that they're getting together. And this new law is going to give them the authority to arrest the grannies and the bumpsters. And I'm sure anybody else, in this article, they might have just said grannies and bumpsters. But I bet you They're targeting anybody who's participating in the sex tourism. And the monsters. They're going to arrest both of them. Okay. I don't know how they're going to do it, but this is what they said they're going to do. They're going to arrest anybody who's coming to Gambia just looking for sex. So let's see what questions we got. Okay. Hey, Tyrone. It says, you are right, but remember that prior to colonization, powerful ethnic groups like the Bandika, Fulani, are all have the colonization makes all of them together to change the borders. And he's right. There was no borders before then. So this nationalization that I'm talking about, that I'm looking for, was a new concept. They're like, what are you talking about? Where's Fulani? We don't know nothing about Nigeria. The white people put that together. We didn't put that together. Nigeria, when it was even ruled, listen to this, y'all. This book's great. Nigeria, when it was ruled by the European, British people, do you know that they did not rule Nigeria as one whole kingdom? You know what I mean when I say that? Like Nigeria was ruled as sections, like northern Nigeria and where the Yoruba lives, where Lagos live. They had different people to take care of those sections. But then when the British people left there, they made it one country and gave it to one president to rule all of that massive Nigeria with all those ethnic groups. Why would you do that when you didn't even rule like that? When you knew it was almost impossible to rule like that, because like Mike said, the people were divided. There were no such thing as borders like that. This was our village, and this is where the Fulani lived. This was where the Bandika lived. This is where the Hausa lived. And this is just where we knew it. This is just where we live. But after colonization, he's absolutely right. And this was another thing done to trip us up as people, because they knew how we were about our ethnic groups. Because remember, your ethnic group is nothing more than your family, people. Ethnic groups are your family. That's what we're saying when we say ethnic group. It's your family. So it's like, are you going to choose your family over a state that you didn't even have to create, that was created by some people you don't even know, and you didn't even have no input on it? So he's absolutely right. That's another big issue with that. That is another big, big issue. The colonization did all that. I wonder if the Black American men who traveled to the Gambia were ever hit by these women who mistook them for locals. That would make me feel embarrassed. I wonder if Black Americans hit on by these women. No, I don't think so. Because I'll say that because when you go to the Gambia, you can tell, and the ones that they want are in their 20s. The African American men who are going to the Gambia, they're older. They're like middle-aged men. So they're not, you can tell they're middle-aged. I didn't see any 20-year-old. No, they want 20-year-old. 26 is probably the oldest that they go for. They mainly go for 26, maybe 30, but the African Americans who are going to the Gambia are much older than that. And they trying to be down with them like that. They are not trying to be down with them. The reason Europeans don't have ethnic group problems because they settle according to their tribe. Like Spanish is, yeah, Swedish and Sweden, German, yes. A sense of nationalism. That's what I just said. He's right. You see what I mean? How easy it is for them. Like America, we all Americans. Nobody else here is not American, unless you're a foreign diplomat. But there's no other group calling themselves anything else other than American. So it's easy. But when you got people who identify family first, and you know we identify family first, and then you want them to identify to compete in this international market, You cannot identify as family first. You got to unify as a nation state. It's like a setup to failure. It's like a setup for failure, pretty much. Because anybody who knows our history know we don't rule like that. They know we don't. So you're absolutely right. It's easy, but it was harder for us to do it, and it took us a little longer to do it. But now it looks like we're doing it. Prior to colonization, the land today called Gambia, southern Senegal, and part of Guinea-Bissau was a Mandinka kingdom called Ebu. Eastern Senegal was Fulani kingdom called Batu Toure, etc. Oh, thank you. So you see, this is important to know, people, because this was not that long ago. This was not that long ago. Not that long ago. And all my African history degrees, they never break it down to us like this. No, they don't, because they don't really care like that. So that's interesting to know. So these are the people who make up this area. So somehow this land was carved out, was taken from Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, and so they carved that out and said, okay, we're going to call this Gambia. That's how they were doing it. This is how it was going down. They was just carving out land. That's what they were doing. Just cutting it up like a cake. A cake was even cut up neater than that. Hey, how you doing, Nima? Yeah, a cake was even cut up bigger than that. I miss you guys. How's everybody? Tell everybody I said, hey. Oh, thank you. In Africa, you can be, she's right. Listen to this, y'all. You can be grown at 13 or 14 as they allow children to actually force children to marry way before 18. And that's another thing. That's in the Muslim community. That's true. And in traditional areas, that's true. That's really true. Yeah, that's really true. When you seeing those little Muslim girls crying, that's why they crying. Because who want to get married at 13? Who want to get married at 14? But that's their culture. And when we come in and tell them, you dead dirty wrong for that, oh, they get offended. That's like going to their house. Like I'm telling you, you can't go to people's house and put your feet on their furniture and tell them what you don't like. I'm going to put my feet on my furniture and I'm going to tell you how much I don't like what you do. They will get so offended by that. So offended by that. So offended by that. But supposedly, this is supposed to be turning also. Because legally, you can't do that. Legally, you can't do that. You can't do it anymore. Legally, you can't. Now, what I've been reading, this occurs like in the villages. They still try to have these traditions, keep these traditions alive that go against the legal system. So legally, you cannot do that. But in the traditions in the village, in some of the villages, they are keeping those things alive. The reason why ethnicity came first in most African countries is because colonists mix and blend different nations together. Maybe over time it will change, but not so soon. Okay, so the colonists mix, yes, and they blended different nations together. And then they would normally blend the nations together that don't get along. That's another thing. They don't want you with people who get along. If you got along with this person, no, not so much. They were not going to put two strong groups together who got along with each other. They were going to put you with somebody who they knew you had a hard time getting along with because they wanted to create turmoil and chaos. So yeah, that's true. You got to remember the games that's being played here, people. I'm going to give you your nation back, but how are you going to run this nation? You two can't stand each other. That's like putting me and the people I talked about in the Gambia in a country and said, now y'all run this nation. How y'all think that's going to go down? That is not going to happen. That is not. First, we're going to have all-out warfare for I don't know how many years. Who knows for how long? Then after the warfare, the winner's going to have to rebuild the country. And by that time, you're not going to have nobody in your country who's educated or who has money because they've left. So your country's just broken down. And you got to start from nothing. This was the plan. This was the plan. This was the whole plan from the beginning. This was the plan. The Senegambian bumpsters are just look for money, which has nothing to do with Gambia. Exactly. Gambia is not like that. Gambia shares. Those people, I've never seen people in the Gambia who share like that. Never. Not even in Nigeria. They don't share like that. No. At least in the city. In Lagos, they don't. Where I was at, they didn't. In Kenya, where I was living, they didn't share like that. You didn't know if the person next to you was hungry. Okay? You didn't know if the person down the street didn't have enough food to eat. You didn't know that where I was living at in the Cajun. You didn't know that. You know, we would give food to the gatemen, you know, but that was pretty much it. But other than like people in the community, like I see in the Gambia, where like when one person eats, you don't have food, we all gonna eat. Oh yeah, I haven't seen that anywhere. I haven't even seen that in Canada. Yeah, that's how this country is. And I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. So yeah, the bumpsters, they're all about money, but Gambia, that country's not like that. Most of the prostitution are from our nation. Then that was another thing I heard. That most of the prostitutes come from different countries. They're not even Gambian because the Gambian women would never disgrace themselves like that. But some of them are Gambian. Some of them are. So we're not going to say none of them are because we know that would be a straight lie. The girls are marrying men aged 35. Yeah, they are. They are. And then the families, but the families look at that as an opportunity too. They look at that as an opportunity. I remember I had a friend named, he was from Mali. His little sister was beautiful. She was about 16 years old. She was a beautiful little young lady. Very beautiful, very smart, getting very good grades in school. Then she was crying. I'm asking, you know, he was here, she was in Mali. I was asking, you know, what was wrong, what was going on. The mom wanted her to marry. This man wasn't even 35. This man was like 50-something. This 50-something-year-old man. And I said, can't she say no? He was like, no, she doesn't have a choice. She's got to do it. They've been promising her to this man since she was a child, since she was about 6 years old. So I was like, what can she do about it? He was like, there's nothing really she can do about it. Nothing she can do about it because the parents are, you know, supporting it. So guess what the little girl did, y'all? She ran away. There was a lady there who had a home, like this lady in South Africa. She had a home where girls who were being forced into marriage, they could come and stay with her, and she would help them continue their education, and she would help protect them. So the family, if the family would try to come back, then they would involve the legal system. Because again, in most of these West African nations, you legally got to be 18 to get married. You legally got to be 18 to get married. So these underage marriages with these old grown men, these are usually tradition. So they don't want the police involved. So that's why she ran to the lady's house. And last I heard, she was still at the lady's house and she was doing good. She's probably out of school now because that's been a while. But yeah, he was in his 50s. I still am seeing happening with women ages 18 or so forth. Yeah, see what I mean? They're 18. But because listen, this is the deal. This is what I didn't understand. When I saw it happening too, this is what I used to say. I couldn't understand why they were not marrying boys, young men their age. You know what was told to me? How are they going to support them, Kiki? She ain't got no job. He ain't got no job. She don't have no income. He don't have no income. How are they going to support themselves? This is Africa. This ain't America. How are they going to support themselves? And remember my Ghanaian friend I told y'all about who taught me about Africa? She's the one who was explaining to me about these relationships. She said, okay, she's 18. She married somebody 26. He doesn't have enough money to support her. He doesn't have enough money to pay the rent. He doesn't have enough money to make sure they eat every day. He probably doesn't even have a job. So one, the family's not going to approve of it. She'll have a boyfriend that's in her age group. Yeah, she'll be in love with him, but she cannot marry him. And she will not marry him because she knows ultimately he cannot feed me. He cannot clothe me. And they want babies. He cannot feed my baby. He can't do none of that for me. He can't do none of that for me. So I got to go and think practically. Who's going to be able to support me? And this is what the family thinks. And that's the reality of the whole situation. That is the reality of the whole situation. And that's why it happens like that. That's exactly why it happens like that. Because they don't have, most of the women, they don't have the same educational level as the men. A man 35, 45 and up, he's going to be settled or almost settled financially. You know, he's going to have some type of income, whether it be little, whether it be big, he's going to have some type of steady income. So this is why they do it. This is exactly why they do it. It's all about money. Yeah, it's all about money. Okay, I'm not going to read that part though, but y'all can see that. So then a lot of them do promise that you're going to go back to school and then they don't go back to school. I heard that a lot too, that they tell the girl's family, okay, I'm going to send, I'm hot, y'all. Y'all like my fan? Isn't it a nice fan? I've heard that a lot too. They'll tell the kids, the girls, I'm going to pay the family. I'm promising that I'm going to send them back to school, but they don't send them back to school. Yeah, I heard that too. They never go back to school. Yeah, and that's really unfortunate. Hey, Kiki, I'm at work listening in the bushes, Ella. Hey, chat, get the likes up. Thank you, Denise. Tell everybody I said, hey. Okay. At 18, those women maybe, yeah, in the 5th grade when they have to quit school because, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But see, that's why this exploitation, this sex tourism has got to stop. Because again, it's not just the grannies who's doing this. They want to say it's just the grannies. The grannies may be the big people, you know, a large portion of them doing it over there in the Gambia, but they're not the only ones doing it. Okay. And when you have low levels of educational attainment, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have people who engage in this type of activity because they need money. And this is a way I can get money. This is an easy way I can get money. And this is the reality of it. You are so correct on everything you're saying. Yes, it's true. It is so true. Y'all, I have seen it for myself. I have seen it for myself. When you are hungry, being hungry in Africa is nothing like being hungry in the United States. And I'm telling you, nothing. In the United States, we can get some food from somewhere. From somewhere. In Africa, you can't get no food from nowhere. When you broke, you broke. You're broke. You're going to have to go beg and hope somebody give you something. Or you're going to have to go prostitute. And you're going to get tired. These young people are getting tired of begging. These young people aren't going to beg. These young people are not, and these are men. These young men are not going to do that. They're not. They're just not going to do that. These young women are not going to do that. The reason why some cultures, ethnic groups, especially the Fulani and the Mandinka, marry their girls at 16 quickly is because they don't want them to know that. Yeah, that's another thing they said. Because they feel like you can't, like if you're around each other, you're going to want to be intimate with each other, which I think that's not really even a good excuse because, you know, people have, it's like saying you don't have any self-control. You know what I mean? It's like saying, if I'm around you so much, I'm going to eventually be intimate with you. But see, they're not marrying 16-year-olds to other 16-year-old stuff. So that's not even a good argument. They're marrying 16-year-olds to 35, 40, 50-year-olds. So they're not even going to be around each other like that. So they're concerned about them being around their age mates and becoming intimate with their age mates, because once they're intimate with their age mates and they're no longer a virgin, that becomes a big problem. That becomes a really big problem. So how can we control this? What are we going to do about this? What we're going to do is we're going to just get them married so they don't have to worry about it. So we don't have to worry about that being a problem or that being an issue later on. Okay. The first the bride family take their daughter to a man, they will want to know whether the girl is still a, yep, so they can party. So no party and no shit. That's what I'm telling you. That is the first thing they're gonna want. They want to know. So this is just, it's just like here, y'all. You put two teenagers together and you keep giving them time alone together, they're gonna do what they're not gonna have self-control. But again, these teenagers are not marrying each other. So I take that back. I just thought about that. You got two teenagers together, right? There is going to be no self-control. But they ain't with teenagers. They're with adults. They're marrying them to adults, grown men that they are not attracted to in any shape, form, or fashion. These stories that you read are very sad. They're very sad. But this is another reason this exploitation, this sex tourism in the Gambia has to stop. Because when there's sex tourism, this type of behavior can be maintained. This type of behavior can be maintained. Why? Because there's a lack of education. There's a lack of education because an educated family is not going to marry their daughter off at 16 because, for one, they can afford to send her to school. Number two, she's going to be in her books. She's going to be so focused on what she needs to do. All of this, maybe she's going to get pregnant. Maybe she's going to do this. Maybe she's not going to be a virgin. You're not going to be worried about that like that. But when there's no money to go to school and we're not doing nothing but hanging around and laying around the village or laying around and hanging around the city, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So this is why they have to do that. But if you have this sex tourism in your country, girls are not going to go to school. Boys are not going to go to the university. Families are not going to be, oh, let's go to the poor families are not going to be doing that by and large because there's other ways to get money. Other ways to get money. Quicker, easier ways to get money. And that's the sex tourism. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. So, sex tourism has become a serious problem in the Gambia. And we've just talked about why. Because it's going to impact your economy eventually. It's going to impact your economy in a way that your most brightest people are going to leave, number one. It's going to create a brain drain eventually. Okay. Number two, your economy is going to be seasonal. Like it's going to be whenever the grannies come there. So if they come there during December, your economy is only going to boom during December. It's going to be flat all year round. You don't want that. You don't want that. As an economy in your nation, you want that economy to be beaten every 12 months, every month. Every month, you want tourists coming there. Every month, you want tourists coming for something. Like, what's his name? Dinah Samir is doing with Nigeria. All those different festivals. He has festivals. Nigeria has different festivals in different states. In different states. Dinah's will take them to these different festivals. That's what you want. You constantly want people coming to cultural festivals throughout your year, because that's going to generate money constantly, not just this once a month, once a year, 30 days when the grannies come. No, you don't want that type of income. So they don't want that. That's another serious problem that it's going to create. That it's going to create crime. It's going to create crime because the boys who can't participate in the trade or who can't get dates for some reason, who knows, what are they going to turn to? Robbery. They're going to start petty theft. They're going to start breaking in. They're going to start robbing the grant. Because, hey, I can get money. This is the quickest way. So these are the problems. And we've been seeing these problems in the Gambia. These three things I just talked about, we are seeing them in the Gambia. All right, so we know this is what is going on. The Gambia has been turning into an increasingly popular sex retreat for older British women since the 1990s, the study said. Okay, it said when a man, I don't know who Thomas Cook is, okay, so maybe somebody will know. Thomas Cook started selling, they said, budget cheap packages, holiday packages to UK people. All right, so these budget cheap packages is what attracted this budget cheap guest. Now you got to remember that, okay? You're going to attract a certain type of tourist with what you pay and how you market it. Now, this is how they're marketing it. This is what they're going to attract. So Thomas Cook marketed these budget cheap, they call them budget cheap package holidays to these UK British people. And he started in 2019. This is what, 2023, 2022, almost 23. So they've done this for a little over, what, 10 years, y'all? 13 years? Wow. 13 years, and they've already said we done with this. Tourism in the Gambia reduced. Okay, so, but it said it went bust. No. He started it. I'm sorry. He started it in the 1990s. It went bust in 2019. So for 19 years, for 18 years, it was thriving. So I don't know what happened in 2019. It just stopped. Stop, kill me. So it stopped. It stopped. Hold on, y'all. Somebody must be walking down the street. She don't know. She just been on one lately. Every time she see people, she just be going off now. I don't know why she's doing that now. Okay. So for some reason in 2019, it just went bust. Like people just stopped going on the trip, on the tourism. They stopped making money like that. It said tourism in the Gambia reduced significantly for some reason. In 2019, the people coming on these package holiday tours, they stopped coming. Well, we know COVID was 2020 officially. So maybe people started getting sick in 2019. We don't know. But COVID officially started in 2020. So that could have had something to do with it. But they said the grannies, let me see, the Gambia, they said it reduced significantly. Though sex tourism, on the other hand, did. So the tourism, the regular tourism significantly decreased. But the sex tourism, they said that did not decrease. That didn't even stop. That kept going. So in this article called The Telegraph, the director of the Gambian Tourism Board, again, Mr. Kamara said that the officials said that they've had enough. And they want tourists again to enjoy the country. They've had enough of all this sex tourism. They've had enough of these bad reputations. They've had enough of people coming to the Gambia exploiting their people. They've had enough of all of that. He said the government is now targeting higher end tourists and millennials opposed to the older Brit. Wow. Wow, y'all. So let me take some more questions. All I have to say to that is, wow. Why the Gambia? Why the Gambia what? Why Gambia? What you mean? Why the Gambia? Explain why the Gambia. Sex tourism is bad. I am happy that the government want to stop it with these old women. But they're not the only one, Pot. You know they're not the only one who's doing it. They are not the only ones. I'm glad they want to stop it too. I'm glad they want to stop it because they're going to get a higher quality tourist, for one. And people who go there for the spiritual aspect and the cultural aspect, when they see things like that, it's traumatizing. I'm serious. When you see sex tourism, you are traumatized. I was traumatized. I was traumatized. And I was just sitting there like, what's going on? And then my mind started saying, this is the stuff I was reading about. This is really the stuff I was reading about. And it's traumatizing. It is truly traumatizing. And the Gambia has so much more to offer than that. So much more to offer than that, because that took my attention away from Gambia. Because I was sitting there enjoying the ocean view. I was sitting there thinking how beautiful this ocean was. I was sitting there admiring this boat, how these men were using this paddle to go out to sea, and how beautiful that was, how this is just a beautiful place, and how tranquil these moments were. And then you'll see sex tourism. Just in the middle of all of it, you'll see sex tourism. And it's traumatizing, like I said. It's just traumatizing. It stops the moment. It stops the moment. Miss Kiki, please let go of Gambia. We like the country as it is. Gambia has never sent an invitation to nobody to visit. Okay, I don't understand what you mean when you say, please let go of Gambia. I don't know what you mean. We like the country as it is. You might need to write the Minister of Tourism, the Director of Tourism in the Gambia. Maybe you need to write him, because he's the one saying this. I'm just reading it, okay? So please don't think this is Kiki Loves Nigeria who's enacting this policy or who's written this policy. I'm just reading the policy. So if you like Gambia the way it is and you like the sex tourism, I suggest you write the director, Mr. Kamara, and tell him that, because it is not me. Gambia has never, no, it hasn't sent an invitation to nobody to visit. But the director of the Gambia Tourism Board is. And his message is he wants high quality tourists. He wants millennials and high quality tourists. So he, sir or madam, whoever you're pretending to be, he wants, and he sent an invitation to what type of tourists he wants. So your issue is not with me. Your issue is with the Gambian tourist director, which is Mr. Kamara. Okay? So Kiki, what do you think the bumpsters in Senegambia will do when these old women don't come anymore? That's a problem. That's a problem. Because for one, they're going to be offended. Because if I was them, I would be offended. I'm telling you, I would be so offended. I wouldn't know what to do. Okay, because they plan these trips yearly. Yearly, they plan these trips. So I would be offended, for one. So they probably are going to stop, because they're talking about prosecuting these people. They are talking about seriously prosecuting these people, these grannies and these bumpsters. Now, what are the bumpsters going to do when they can't scam, when they can't, make money off these women? I'm not sure. That's going to create some type of drain. That's all I can describe it. That's going to create a black hole, because these people are normally used to getting their money from these women who come yearly, and they get it throughout the year from them. So what are they going to do? I don't know. That will be interesting to see how they recreate themselves, because at this point You have to recreate yourself. At this point, you have to recreate yourself, because it was like they were exploiting each other. To me, it's an exploiting of each other. But when somebody's hungry, what I'm going to do for food is different. They're doing this for food. They're doing this for shelter. So I wouldn't say they're exploiting the grannies. I take that back. I wouldn't classify that as them exploiting the grannies, because what they're doing it for is completely different. The grannies are doing it for enjoyment, according to this article. So what they're going to do, I don't know. That's a good question, and that's going to cause a big problem, a really big problem. Man, you are so right. I don't know what they're going to do. Sadly, too many places on this beautiful earth, human life is cheap. Yep. For evil-minded, it is easy to abuse people in these ways. And it is. It is. Especially when you don't have enough. And that's what I'm telling you about these people in Africa. They don't have enough, West Africa. It's nothing like here. You think hungry here? No. It's a whole different type of hunger. It's a whole different type of poverty. So your mind, you're going to do whatever you need to do to survive. And that's real. You're going to do whatever you need to do to eat. And that's the reality. That's the reality of the life there in these developing nations. Will it change? Yes, I'm sure in time it will change. Everything changes in time. Nothing stays the same. Nothing, it can't. Everything changes in time, but it's got to get there. It's got to go through the process. And while it's going through the process, there shouldn't be people interfering with the process. Because see, this influx of exploitation of money, exploiting you, it's going to pull you away from things that you need to make it. Like for one, these people who are participating in sex tourism, they could have been creating some type of job opportunity. They could have been doing something else. But they knew, okay, I can go down here to the beach and I can do exercise. And y'all, I've seen it. They'll start exercising on the beach right in front of your face. And you're like, why are you doing that? They'll start exercising, flexing their little muscles. They want you to notice them. So they're doing everything in their power for you to notice them. Everything. And this is what they're doing. But just think, if that opportunity was not there, they'd be forced to do something else. So that's basically what the government is saying. We're going to force you to do something else. We're going to take this opportunity from you because you don't understand what it's doing to you. Because when you're 30 and you're 40, you're not going to be able to exploit anymore. You're not going to be able to be a bumpster anymore. What are you going to do for money then? What are you going to do then? Because they don't want 30-year-olds. They want 26, 25 and under, 26 and under. They want them little young boys with them chiseled up arms. That's how you know they're young. When you see them chiseled, them perfectly chiseled bodies, like somebody took a sculpted it like that. That's a young boy. That is a young boy. I know other way to put it. Young boy. And that's what they want. That's what you see them with. And when you take that person, that group, and young women, because women are doing it too, out of the population, they're not being educated, they're not being trained on a skill, they're not developing social skills that will help them in their community. What do you think is going to happen to that community? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think that community is going to become? And the Gambian Tourism Board said, that's enough. We done let y'all come here. We done saw what y'all was going to do, and you just going to keep on doing it. You're going to keep on doing it, and you're going to keep on doing it. Now enough is enough, and we said stop. Now don't think it's just the grannies, y'all. They just said the granny in this article, but they ain't just talking about the grannies. They talking about anybody who's participating in sex tourism with anybody, whether it's the bumpsters or whether it's you know who, and you know what I'm talking about. Them other ones, them other sick ones that you see all the time. I'm thankful to God somebody's tired of that. because that disturbs your soul. When you see that, it disturbs your soul. And to know that's illegal, they're making that illegal now, but it's been illegal. But now they're going to make sure sex tourism is illegal in the Gambia. They don't want it anymore. They don't want that reputation anymore. So that means they're going to be acting upon it. That's what that means. You're going to see them acting upon that. That means you're going to see more police on the beaches and not just sitting on the beaches, actually stopping this activity on the beach. Yes. That's what this means, people. This is policy now. This is policy now, because this is hurting Gambia. This is hurting Gambia. This type of behavior hurts Gambia. It doesn't hurt the UK tourists. It doesn't hurt the European tourists. It doesn't hurt the people, them, because they're just giving their money. But it does hurt these young people who are not developing themselves at all. And they're so dependent on that money. And then when that money is gone, like M. Johnson just said, what are they going to do? What are you going to, no, who said that to me? No. Mike Channel said that to me. What are they going to do? What are they going to do now, Kiki? Their money is going to be gone. What are they going to do? Welcome to Kiki Loves Nigeria. Oh, look, show some love and hit the like. Thank you. And you're right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Y'all, this is just crazy. They trying to get show. Yes, they are. They really are. And this is just what's sad. This is just really sad. But once you see it, turning them old women on. Girl, once you see it though, it's like exploitation. Okay? Because it's not like here when you see, like, you'll see the older woman with the younger dude, right? But the older woman look good to be an older woman. Okay, you like, wow, she that age for real? Man, I can't believe she that age. It'll be like that, but not there. No, it's not that kind of party. It is the older woman, and please forgive me. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I'm not ridiculing people. I'm describing what I see. You'll see the older woman, and their skin is saggy. I've never seen saggy skin. God forgive me. I am not trying to be funny, but I've never seen skin sag off your bones. I've never seen that before. The women's skin sags off their bones and their legs. When they stand up, it just sags. Okay? The whole thing just sags. But the dudes are chiseled, like little young boys, 15 to 26. I'm not kidding y'all. Maybe I'll give you maybe 30. Yeah. This is what you see. Now just think, you sitting out to dinner, you looking out at the beach, and you thinking, boy, dear God, this is a beautiful place. Thank you for this opportunity, to give me to come to this place. Remember when me and Nima went to? Remember when we went up to that little secret hiding place of hers, and you walked up and you saw the beach, and you just see the ocean out of nowhere. The ocean just comes out of nowhere in the Gambia. You'll just be walking, and then there's the ocean. And you're sitting there thinking, God. And then all of a sudden, you see something like, makes you say, what? What's going on? Or you'll see a grown 70-something-year-old man with a little kid, 13, 14. You thinking it's their grandkid. And then you'll see some more people with a kid, you thinking it's their grandkid. But inside your heart, you like something not right here. Something not right here. It's time out for that. It's time out for that, because you can make so much more money off of people like me who go there to see the country, to experience the spiritual aspect of the country. who go there just to be in love with Gambia, to be in love with the ocean, to be in love with the giving and the culture, how they share. If I don't have, my neighbor has. If you in sex tourism, you ain't doing nothing with the Gambian. You don't even know about the Gambian culture. You think it's all about money. You think that Senegambian market is what really goes on in the markets, and it's not. That Senegambian arts and crafts market, that is nothing like the real markets. Some people don't talk to you and treat you that way. I got so disrespected in the Senegambia art crafts market. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. But look where I was at. And I was by myself. They said, oh, this is a single woman. She's here in Africa. She in Gambia. She ain't got no husband. She over here by herself. She over here participating in sex tourism. She ain't nobody. So that's how they proceeded. That's how they thought they were going to treat me, like I was a nobody. But you see what I'm saying? That's not how they treat you in Gambia. When you go to the real market, go to Serekunda. Go down there. Go down there and see the difference in how you treated, how you talk to. But it's because they think we're all there for them. We're all there for sex tourism because that's what goes down over there. And they're tired of it. They're tired of it. He said, we're tired of it. He said, time out. Time out, which means I'm cool on you. And I'm done with this. I'm done with you coming here. And then you get on TV and you tell everybody how you enjoy coming here, having sex with multiple men. Most of them old women coming to Gambia are only one place, England. So many retire there with their houses, though. Well, I don't think they're just coming from England. I really don't. I don't agree with that. I think they're coming from, the majority may be coming from England. Did you say most? Yeah, you said most. Okay, most of them might be, yeah. Most of them might be coming from England, but it ain't just them. Yeah, it ain't just them. Kill me. STD, yes. And that's what we don't hear about. M. Johnson, what about the STDs in the community? You know, when you sleeping around like that, it's gotta be STDs in the community. It's gotta be. What about the STDs in the community? Nobody talks about that, but there gotta be some. It's gotta be a lot. Gotta be a lot. That must spread beyond the sex tourists. Yes, because see, after they had sex with the tourists, remember, I'm gonna go home and have sex with my real boyfriend or my real girlfriend or my real husband or my real wife. After I had sex with the sex tourists. Because that's what it goes. That's how it goes. Health issues must, yes. And that's another thing I'm concerned about in the Gambia. Health issues. What's going on with that? The minister of tourism, the director of tourism probably wonders the same thing, thinking the same thing. That's why he's saying this has got to stop. Time out for this. Time out for this. This has got to stop. This is going to stop. And we're putting a stop to it. We're not trying to hurt your feelings. We're not trying to put you down. We're not trying to ridicule you. Dory. Hey, Dory. Hey, Dory. That's my cousin, y'all. I'm sorry. I get excited when I see my cousins, y'all. So they're saying, we're not trying to ridicule you. We're not trying to make fun of you. We're just telling you. We're just telling you for real. Time out for all that. Yeah. Okay, what you say, Mike? He said, they all brought by Thomas Cook from Britain. Every Gambian knows that flight. Okay, tell us some more about that. Because that's what they said. This man, so did Thomas Cook market the Gambia as a sex tourist place? Or what? What you think? Was he the one who started this? Let's make Gambia the head place for sex tourism, or did he make it as a family vacation spot? Because he couldn't have did that or made it as like a place where you go to learn about the culture. Mike, tell us more about that. Hey, Dory. So Dory said that's why, yeah, it is. That's why AIDS and stuff be just going around. And you won't even know in the village. Hey, yeah, that's my girl, y'all. You won't even know in the village. Some of the villages you won't even know because they'll treat it for themselves. Yeah, Dory's here, guys. She's so funny. Dory is hilarious. Dory's my cousin. It is hilarious. Yeah, you laughing for hours. But like in the village, okay, they'll treat it themselves. Like when I told y'all my great grandma was like the doctor, like a medicine doctor. She called them the ladies of the evening. Now, the ladies of the evening, when they would get sick and, it start bothering them down there, they would get something. They didn't go to the doctor. They went to her. They went to my great grandmother to get medicine. So she wasn't reporting it to nobody. So how do you know? How do they know? They might be going to the traditional doctors too. So we don't know. We don't know what it's doing to the community health-wise. But I guarantee you it's doing something. So the question, then we beg the question, why are young Gambians engaging in sex tourism? Well, we already know. We said it. Tragically, there's an incentive for Gambian men to sleep with these older women who flock to us from countries. Now listen, these are the countries they said they're coming from. Holland, Sweden, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany. Okay? So it isn't just the UK. And it's largely because there is a lack of jobs. We said this, poor wages in the country, and the bumpsters know all this. They wander the beaches day and night looking for these elderly women who they hope will one day, see, their goal one day is to relocate to Europe. Their goal is to marry the seniors, the grannies, and then the grannies will relocate them to their country. All right. So there also was an article from this place. It was a YouTube channel called The 77%. And it said that one Gambian man said children as young as 9 years old are being preyed upon by tourists. Now, this is the sex tourism trade. This is it. That's why I'm telling you, it isn't just the granny. It is not just the granny. It is not just them. When you go to the Gambia, you will see who's really doing this because it's right in the open and there's no shame in their game. Like it's bright outside right now. They don't do this in the dark. They do this in broad daylight in front of God and everybody. And you, the American, will be the only one sitting there troubled, flabbergasted, looking like, what in the world is going on here? Wondering why everybody else is not outraged. And everybody's looking at you like you're the problem. And I'm not lying and I'm not kidding. I'm telling you the honest to God truth. And that was the problem. Remember, I said that's why I was struggling with living in the Gambia because I couldn't deal with this. I couldn't live with this. I couldn't go to the market. I couldn't go out to dinner and see this because who knows? I might be in a bad mood one day. It might be too hot outside. And I run across these people doing this. Who knows what I'm going to say to them? And you already in a bad mood and you see something that make you upset. Y'all know how it goes. That's why I said I know I couldn't live there. I couldn't, not long as this was going on. Remember, I told you guys that. But now I see they're making strides to end this. Then maybe, I'm going to take another look at the game. Because y'all know I'm not worried about them punks over there. Y'all know I'm not worried about them. If anything, they should be worried about me. But anyway, I digress. Despite this, some UK women are not ashamed of their sexual getaways. Now listen to this. This is what the director was talking about. On this show called The Morning in 2019, I guess it's a UK show. Sisters Jackie Simpson and Julie Ramsey, they're in their 60s now. They explained that they've been traveling to the Gambia 15 times. They've been to Africa more than I've been to Africa. They've been there 15 times. They said they've fallen in love with multiple boyfriends who say they're all 36. Okay. So they say the boyfriends are all 36. But you know as well as I know, if you've been to the Gambia, ain't no 36-year-old over there. So you may see one or two, but you don't see them like that. The Gambia's previous dictator, Yahya Jammeh, is often held responsible for the struggling economy. Okay, because they're blaming all this on the economy, right? And they're saying Yahya Jammeh, which was the president before Amadou Barrow, I hope I'm saying his name right. President Barrow. Before him. So Yahya Jammeh, they said, messed up the economy. Gambia lost a lot of international funding because of what he was doing. And they said that he also, did some things to women that was not very nice. I'm not going to say that, what he says, but you all know what I'm talking about. But the country's new government under Mr. President Barrow is saying that they want to reduce this. They don't want women prostituting themselves for poverty. They don't want their men prostituting themselves. They don't want their youth, they don't want their young population prostituting themselves to anybody because of poverty. So what they want to do, they went to go meet. Now see, that's how you know they for real, y'all. They for real. They went to go meet with some people in the UK. I don't know who, tourist officials in the UK. They went to go meet with them, some Gambian officials, because what they want to do, they went to TUA and British Airways. They want to do tourist packages. They want to have conversations with them, but they want to create boosting flights, not tourist packages. They want to boost flights from London to Banjul. So they want to increase flights. And increased flights means the prices of the flights will probably more than likely go down. But they do not have an interest in encouraging sex tourism. Okay? The government in the African nation said they would be backing backing the move to clean up the tourist trade by considering laws. Now look, they want to consider laws that crack down on bumpsters and officials who have called on the UK government. They've also called on the UK government to help them stop the British Gambians, grannies the UK government to help stop the British grannies from exploiting the Gambian boys. All right. Can y'all believe that? Wait a minute, where's my stop? Let me stop right here. Because I want to tell y'all what this man from the National Protection Child Alliance has to say. Because it's really, that's who it is. It's the young people and it's the children. The young people and the children, like I said, your vulnerable population who are being exposed to all of this, who are being messed up from this. The Dominican Republic has the same issue of sex tourism. Yeah. That's why people be running there like that. West Africa is most safest place regarding HIV compared to East and South Africa. But still, what we're saying, not whether it's safe or not compared to other countries, we're saying that this sex tourism gotta be impacting. You know what I'm saying? This sex tourism, it's gonna bring diseases. Trust me. We don't know about it. They're probably not keeping track. Somebody probably keeping track of it. We just don't know about it. But sex tourism, they're having sex with these women who are having sex with multiple men. They said, these two sisters just said, they're not having sex with just one Gambian man. They had said, I've had multiple Gambian boyfriends. So there's got to be some type of diseases going back and forth. They so nasty that they go to, yes, 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 they do. Yes. And they laugh about it and it's fun. And they plan girl trips. You know how we would plan girl trips to go to Las Vegas and gamble? They'll plan girl trips to go to Gambia to engage in sex tourism with young boys. And these boys are 15 through 26. They're laughing saying they're 36, but they're not 36. The people who participate in this trade is not 36. These are young people. They are bold to be having sex. Yeah, and laughing about it. That's what, Denise, I wish you could just see it. But if you were there and you saw it, you and Dory, you would be angry, you would be outraged. You would be outraged where you would just start talking loud and saying stuff. I'm serious. Because it's just like, it's out in the open, like you cool with it too. Like if you here, if you in the Gambia, then you got to be cool with it too. And I'm not cool with it. I'm not cool with it by any means. That's why I'm so thankful to God that they're finally doing something about it. Because this, like I said, this is a beautiful country. I've showed y'all how beautiful it is. I've showed you how, and I've told you how beautiful it is. But it's got some bad apples. It's got them American repats, not all of them, but the ones on YouTube, them messies. You got them scammers who beg constantly. You got them, just ignore them. And then you got these sex tourists. Once they get rid of them too, it's fine. Once again, now that they've got rid of the sex tourism, they need to get rid of the repats. They need to get rid of the repats who causing all that trouble over there, who using up all them resources. That's who they need to target now, because that's giving them a bad reputation. Well, no, not Gambia. It's giving the Americans a bad reputation. But still, why would you want them in your country causing all that trouble? That's all they do, disrespect the country. They don't respect Gambia at all. So let's see who's next. Let's see who's next, using up all the court's resources, going to court for every little bitty thing. Africans don't even sue each other like that, but we do. We do. So we over there just utilizing up the court system, utilizing up all the resources. And y'all think they're not paying attention to how much trouble we cause over there? Y'all think they're not? You think they're not? If they're paying attention to the grannies who were bringing money over there, you're not thinking they're paying attention to the people who just bringing trouble, because we don't bring dollars. We don't bring dollars, we bring trouble, because we go on YouTube and beg for the dollars. Gambia and Senegal have 1.0 according to the World Index. Oh, that's really good. That's, well, what was it before though? Because they had, I'm sure it was spiked at one time. I'm sure they did something to get it at this rate. To be off, in all fairness, they've had to do something. It had to been high at one time, and they did something to get it under control. Just like in Nigeria, it was high at one time, but now it's really low because they've done something to get it under control. So no, it's not like it's never been high. I'm sure it was high at one time. The Gambia is the Jamaica of West Africa when it comes to that type of tourism. Yeah, and that's why they want to stop it. The Gambia is a lot like Jamaica. Their culture, the music. When you're in the community, do you know that's what they listen to? Reggae music. I told y'all this lady called me a Rasta lady. She was like, she said, "You look nice, Rasta lady." And I was like, okay. I ain't never been, no, Rasta woman. That's what she called me, a Rasta woman. I've never been called a Rasta woman. But whatever it is, it made me feel good. So a Rasta woman I am. So they really are heavily into Rastafarian culture, Jamaican culture. You know, it's really, you can really see it there. I've never been to Jamaica. But from what I've seen from Jamaica and the Gambia and just the whole connection with Bob Marley, Haile Selassie, all of that is just really rampant in the Gambia. It's just widespread. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that whole culture to me is about peace, love, and community. They are not tracking. No, they're not. I know they're not. I know they're not, because it's hard to track them in our community, because a lot of women don't even go to the doctor. They'll wait for the symptoms to go away and think, oh, I'm cured. You're not cured. It's you just went past the symptom stage and now it's gone to the advanced stage. But they won't get help until it's too late. Yeah, I don't think they're tracking them properly either. There are other STDs. Yeah. Herpes, chlamydia. Yep. All of those. All of those. There's so many more than HIV. So many more. That's why they want it to stop. It brings too much. Not only is it corrupting us socially and morally, you're putting our young people at a health risk also. And these diseases can spread throughout our entire community. And before you know it, you have a whole outbreak in the whole community. A whole outbreak in the whole community from one person can just spread it. Everyone, let's get the lights up for the algorithm. Oh, thank you. Yeah, before you know it, the whole community will have it. Okay, so let's listen to what Lamin Fatty Fati, am I saying it right? I hope I am. Fatty Fati, National Coordinator of the National Protection Alliance, told the Daily Telegraph. He said, the High Commission has shown some engagement, but it's not only about engagement, he said. We also need financial and technical assistance. So he said they've shown some engagement by saying we're going to try to enact some laws. We're thinking about enacting some laws. We've let your UK know we don't want these people. We put it out there. We don't want these people. So they said, okay, you said that. Now we need money to back this. We need money to act this. Like we need special police. You need special police on the beach to make sure this isn't going on. You need people to prosecute these people. You're going to need a prosecutor. You're going to need more jail people. You're going to need more resources. So that's what he's saying. Okay, you've done this, but where's the financial and the technical resources to get this done? We need this. There could be much better collaboration between both countries if there was a solution in place. So they basically feel like if UK would work with Gambia, and if we would combine our resources, if we could combine technology, and we could kind of track these people, see what they're doing when they come here. And when we find out this is what they're doing, you don't need to come back. You don't need to come back because they asked you, what did you do when you came? Where are you going to stay? When you come back, they say, what did you do? Where did you go? It's easy to find out what you did, where you go. So for 2 years ago, on Channel 4, there was a documentary. This is when Gambia felt like they really got displayed badly, and they said enough is enough. And I can't even find this documentary, you guys. I've been trying to find it and find it. It was called Sex on the Beach. It was released by Channel 4. In this video, this documentary, one woman, now listen to this. This is why Gambia said we done with y'all. Deuces, we cool with y'all. We cool on y'all. This is why, because you made them look like a fool. They said, this one woman said, one old woman told the program that the country was paradise. Okay, I told y'all why it was paradise, because it was beautiful. I told y'all it was paradise because, man, the ocean, the scenery, the people, the sense of community, that if I'm going to eat, you're going to eat. If I got food, you got food. That's what's beautiful to me. That's what's paradise. That you could just go sit on the beach and you could connect with God anytime you want to. And guess how much that cost you? Nothing. $0, $0. That's paradise. See how I just described it? Listen how she just described the paradise. It's paradise because you can have a different man every night. I kid you not. I kid you not. This woman told a reporter in a documentary about the Gambia called Sex on the Beach that Gambia was paradise. And it's paradise because you can have a different man every night. And to West Africa, that's a sin and that's a shame. And no West African country in their right mind wants to be known by that. So that's when things began to change. The tourism and the Gambian economy. Let me see if I got a question. We're going to get this one, and we're going to go to the economy. What they saying about that? This is not a matter of arguing. It's a matter of checking data yourselves with the World Health. HIV has never been. Okay. Okay, good. We're happy. Thank you. But we're not talking about HIV. So thank you. Thank you for clarifying that Gambia's never had a problem with HIV. Okay. Thank you. We're not talking about that. Has Gambia had a problem with prostitution? Has Gambia had a problem with sex tourism? So you want us to believe they've had a problem with sex tourism and prostitution, but they don't have a problem with HIV. You want us to believe that nobody, because 1%, less than 1% means that nobody there has HIV. Now, Pa, that's not even realistic. I don't care what the World Health stats say. That's not even realistic, and I don't believe that. I don't know about other STDs. Well, I don't believe that. Less than 1% of people, come on, goodbye, whatever. So not one person in Gambia has HIV, and we have sex tourism and we have prostitution, but we don't have we don't have HIV. We got them other diseases possibly, but we don't have HIV. See, this is why this sex tourism was allowed to continue in the Gambia for so long, because people turned a blind eye to it. Gambians turned a blind eye to it and kept saying it wasn't existing, and it was. It was. Because when I was on another show, Gambians were coming on there telling me I was lying about sex tourism in the Gambia. And you can clearly Google it and find out. And now the director has said he's tired of it. But I thought y'all said it didn't exist. I thought y'all said I was making it up. The first step into solving a problem in your community is acknowledging the problem. The director has acknowledged of tourism, has acknowledged that there was a problem. The child, the director, what was he? The child advocacy lawyer, what was he? Let me go up here again. The director, Mr. Fateh, I guess I don't know if he said Fateh or Fatih. He said the same thing, and he's the director of the coordinator for children. He said the same thing, that this is an issue and that we need money, the Child Protection Alliance. But you all were saying forever that it didn't exist. And now all of a sudden it magically exists. So if we want a problem to go away, first we got to acknowledge that problem exists. Art Kathy put up a copy of Sex Tourism. Yeah, I seen it. Rent a Gambian boy. What? Oh, I didn't see that. Rent an African thing. And they said it wasn't true when she was saying it. But it was true. It's been true. It's been going on for a long time. This has been going on for quite some time. Quite some time. Yeah, quite some time. This has been going on. Quite some time. So let's finish. So, I mean, saying it's not real and expecting us to believe that we're smart. Everybody on here is smarter than that. We're all much smarter to believe that, okay? It's not being reported. What that tells us is that it's not being reported. That's what it's telling us. It is not being reported. That's what it's telling us, because we know how the stat stuff works, especially with organizations like the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization is not going to really know what's going on in the Gambia until they go to the Gambia, get on the ground, go inside the hearts of the villages in what we call the hinterland, the villages, go in there. Where you got to walk from the shoreline, and then you got to walk about 3 or 4 or 5 miles through the bush, talk to each person there, then you find out what's going on. In the city, you got to go to the urban area. You're going to have to sit and you're going to have to find out where these women are. Because I remember seeing a movie before I even went to the Gambia and talked to these women. Let me tell you what you got to do first and find out where these women are who engage, these women and men who engage in this activity where they frequent. And then you're going to have to interview them. That's how you find out the truth. If you really want to know what's going on. Now, I just seen a movie. I didn't just see it. Maybe a year ago. It's about the same issue. This young lady had a sexually transmitted disease. She was a prostitute. She was working the strip that's in the Gambia. Sexual tourism. Young girl. She had a disease. She never got treated. Never got treated. She didn't even know she had it. She went to the traditional doctor. They gave her something for it, put her right back to work because she needed the money. She died from this sexually transmitted disease that went untreated. So if there's a movie about it, this has to be an issue in the Gambian community. So we're not going to act like the World Health Organization is correct on this issue when we know these organizations like this, they do the best they can do, but they're usually not accurate. Tourism is the fastest growing sector in the Gambia, okay? The economy accounts for 20% of the GDP. So the Gambia wants tourism. Tourism is a good way, like I told y'all, to make money. Namely, I'm going to make your money, like people like me, when I go there. I'm going to put money into the economy. I'm going to put thousands of dollars into the economy the short time I'm there. And then I'm going to leave. I'm not going to spend any. I'm not going to require anything from them. I'm not going to take anything from them. I'm going to give the whole time I'm there. I'm not going to require police presence. I'm not going to require the courts present. I'm not going to require a judge. I'm not going to require a prosecutor. I'm not going to require any of that. I'm not going to require a boy toy. I'm not going to require any of that. I'm going to enjoy the scenes. I'm going to pay to go there, and then I'm going to leave. Gambia just made thousands of dollars off of me, and it cost them nothing. This is the type of tourist that we want. This is the type of tourist that the Gambia wants. Other than somebody who's coming there who's going to cost them. You're going to exploit the poor people in my community. Okay? You're going to give them money in exchange for what? Their social and educational development, their professional development. You see the difference? So we don't want that type of tourism. So they do want tourism, but just not that type of tourism. It is a major foreign exchange earner and a significant source of employment, which is another good thing. Hospitality management. That's a good field to go into. And with all those nice hotels over there and those nice hotels being built, and if you got more tourists coming, who's coming yearly all around, the hotels are being built. People are coming all year, not just when the grannies are coming. Not once a month, once a year, but yearly. That's going to be a nice income, a nice steady income. Yomi is just tripping, y'all. So, again, the Gambia, that's going to be nice. That's a nice, significant source of employment and income. The Gambia gained its independence in 1965. It is known as the Smiling Coast because the people are nice, or mainly people say because when you look at it on the map, it looks like a smile on the map of Africa. All right, so let's look at this question, and then we're going to go back. Sex tourism is all over Brazil, Mexico, Cuba. You can find it everywhere. Here in the U.S., why make a mockery out of the Gambians? I thought this was a Muslim country with anti-Christians. So you obviously haven't been listening to the show. Nobody's making a mockery out of anyone. I don't do that on my show. I don't make a mockery out of anyone. I'm an educated woman. I don't have to make a mockery out of anyone. We came on here to inform and educate. And that's just what we did. We're not talking about those countries. We're talking about West Africa. All right. So nobody made a mockery. I don't think the Gambian government was making a mockery out of its own people, because that's what we were talking about, the Gambian government and their law. If you go there for a boy toy, that is what you will find. But if you are going there to enjoy the country, you will enjoy the country. So you must have came on late because you don't know what you're talking about. Because that's what we've been talking about, ma'am. That's what we've been talking about. Okay. That's why people shouldn't comment unless they know what we're talking about. Okay. So we were saying that that's what the government is tired of. People coming to the Gambia for boy toys. They don't want that anymore, ma'am. So they said, we're done with that. You're no longer welcome here. And they're considering prosecuting those people, considering legislation to pass policy to stop, to, arrest those people, including the buster. So you missed it. You came late and you just wanted to jump in the conversation. And that's a no-no on Kiki Loves Nigeria. You need to educate yourself before you try to jump in the conversation. And you've been watching my show, Cynthia, for a while now. You know the rules of engagement. And if you're not Cynthia, I sincerely apologize. Okay, let's finish. So what was Gambia's reputation about? We talked about that, right? Did we talk about that? Oh, no, we didn't. Hold on. This is what I thought was really interesting. Gambia's reputation. I said, well, let me just look up their reputation. Even though I had talked about it previously, it was more detail on it this time. Gambia is known for female sex tourism. You might say, well, what is female sex tourism? Female sex tourism is when women travel to destinations and they look for sexual activities with the men who live there locally. Okay. Female sex tourism usually occurs with men, not with women, and they see, this is the thing. They said most of these relationships are romantic relationships. Like, these women are going there looking for romance. Okay, looking for romance and looking for romantic relationships. So if they're looking for romance, to me, romance and sex is two different things. Like, romance is they want a relationship, and sex is they want to have sex. So the two sisters and the grannies that were in the documentary seemed like they wanted to have sex. And then it's this female sex tourism tourists who goes there looking for romantic relationships, but they're looking for the romantic relationships that they can't buy. Now, why is this important to buy the relationship? Because if you buy the relationship, you can control the relationship. So that's the difference. And they said a lot of people haven't even heard of female sex tourism. So we talked about the different forms of it. So it said this country's reputation for sex tourism is breathtaking. This reputation is breathtaking. They said this documentary that I can't find, I don't know if they took it off or what, Sex on the Beach, it portrayed the Gambian as a Gambia. Not me. The documentary portrayed the Gambia as a sex destination for elderly white women in search of young Gambian men. The documentary depicted the country as a real life Tinder. I don't even know what Tinder is, but it predicted the country as a real life Tinder with European practitioners. One of the elderly European women said the country was paired. That's what I told y'all. This is in a documentary too, because she could have a different man every night. Now, I'm not saying that. These women are saying that. I'm not making a mockery of the Gambia. These women are saying that. So please listen before you start coming on here accusing me of stuff and don't know what you're talking about. So the tourist guide who was talking to the Telegraph, which is a newspaper, said people are poor here, so they have no choice. I think it's better to go to Europe, where they will have a better life. They think it's better to go to Europe to have a better life. They hope that the old ladies will one day take them. So this person they just interviewed, I don't know if this was a sex person or what, sex tourist person. It sounds like it was somebody from the community. They said that the people who are participating in this trade are very poor. Okay, they said they're very poor. They said that these people, they think this is their only choice to participate in the trade, and that's why they do it. And that's their only choice to get money. You are no better than those old white ladies since you have gone to the Gambia for a boy toy. Do you have a boy toy? Do you understand what a boy toy is? We defined a boy toy. A boy toy is someone that you go to the Gambia with and you pay them to have sex with you. You pay them to be in a relationship with you. The last time I checked in my whole entire life, in my whole 11 times of going to Africa, I've never, ever paid anyone. I don't have to have sex with me. I don't date 20-year-olds. That's another thing. The boy toys are between 15 and 26. I don't do that either. And these are not relationships, okay? I'm in a relationship. That's different than a boy toy. So if you want to understand the definition of a boy toy, it doesn't mean you're a woman from the West and you date or you marry someone from the Gambia. That's not the definition of a boy toy, okay? The boy toy I just defined to you. That's someone that you pay to have sex with. That's someone that you pay to be around, and there's no real relationship. So my relationship does not qualify as a boy. Okay. But thank you for your comment. At least it's Gambia government talk about it as compared to, yes, thank you. Gambian government has said it's enough. They said it's enough of this. And I am so happy. That's why I said the tide seems like it is turning in Africa and West Africa. Like they're saying this is enough and I'm not doing this no more. We're not going through this. You're not going to come here and exploit our people. We might be poor, we might be going through our development, but you're not going to use us and exploit us. Those days are over. So that again says a lot about Gambia. Like I'm telling you, this country is really making strides. And this right here is a big stride, because they're going to get a whole different population of tourists. Watch, it's going to change. The tourists will now change. I can keep it listening on. Good, thank you. So the tourists are going to change now, and that's what they want. Like I said, you want tourists to come to you all year, and you want tourists to put money into your economy, not pay someone to have sex with them. Okay, that's what you want. That's why they want these different types, high quality tourists who come there to learn about the country and the culture, who want to connect with the community. This is what they want. And I'm glad they came out and said it. I feel good about that. I'm glad for them. So let's see. So this is the questions that I had after reading that. What caused the growth of the sex tourism in the Gambia? Well, we know that. We said poverty. We said it was a poor country. That's what caused it. And they said over a third of its population, 1.7 million, are surviving below the poverty line at $1.25 a day. Sex tourism in the Gambia is mainly grounded in cheap labor of the young Gambian men. See, it's guided by that. That's what's guiding it. I'm sorry. Who have few economic opportunities. For many men, their bodies have been their main source of capital. And that's so sad when your body, when you got to sell what God gave you as a gift. He gave you your mind as a gift. He gave you your body as a gift. And when you have to sell that, because that's the only resource that you have, especially your body, not so much your ideal. Yeah, we can sell them and make money off of them easily. That doesn't violate us. But our body, I have to sell my body. I have to turn my body into a form of commerce. What does that say about us as a people? For many of therefore, men will use their body for consumption by usually older women tourists from the global West. When trying to make sense of this sexual exchange that takes place in Gambia, it's important to understand that sex tourism is more than a simple exchange of money for sex. You got to understand that. That's what they want you to understand. It's not that these people are just having sex for money. It's not like that. This is how I got to eat. I am humiliating myself. I am belittling myself because I need to eat. I need a place to lay my head. I need clothes. I'm sick. I need to go to the doctor. Because it's not insurance like here. The state don't provide insurance like here and medical like here. No. So, let me see. Some men, they said some of the Gambian women, men and women who participate in this would call themselves prostitutes, but some of them don't. They don't look at themselves as prostitutes. They look at this as a transactional relationship. For the person who said I had a boy toy, I'm not in a transactional relationship. We don't make transactions, okay? That's not what I mean. A transactional relationship is a boy toy where you make transactions. You give them money and they give you them. It's a transactional relationship. And sex is the transaction. That's what they trade. But again, they said some of these women want a relationship. Some of these women want a relationship with these Gambian men because I was reading that a lot of the Gambian men have been brought to the UK. So some of these relationships turn real, but by and large, it looks like they don't. And again, remember, it's those other tourists too that the Gambian tourist people are talking about. They don't want them either, that I told you about, the ones that are truly disgusting. They don't want them either. So they're putting them all together. All right? So what do you think? So what do y'all think is going to happen to tourism in the Gambia? I predict it's going to go up. I think they're going to get a higher quality tourist because the Gambia is beautiful. You should see them houses over there. You should see the houses that they're building. It's unbelievable. They're mansions, mansion after mansion after mansion after mansion. The airport road. They're building this new road to the airport. Very nice. Very nice. That's why I'm saying, telling you, Gambia is going to be a very nice country, and they're not going to tolerate that. They're not going to have none of their nice new sparkly country with all those mansions. No, they're not. Why do you, and then my next question was, why do you think the Gambian government made this decision? Well, I think they made this decision because, again, they felt like this sex tourism reputation was not what they wanted. And the director said it. He said most of West Africa has a conservative reputation, and they do. They really do. You don't see this. You don't see Europeans there with young Nigerians running on the beach, walking through. You don't see that. No. You don't see European with Nigerian kids. No. No, 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 no. You don't see that. Even in Cameroon, you're not going to see that. But in the Gambia, you saw all of that. And that's what was mind-boggling to me because I wasn't used to that. I was like, wow. So the government has said, We don't want that reputation. We're just like the rest of them. We're conservative too. We're conservative too. And we're going back to who we are. We welcomed you. This is what you've done. So we got to say, like I said, we cool on you for now. We cool on you for now, and this has got to stop. So this is what I thought was interesting. This is my other question I came up with. I said, so how is the Gambian government going to ensure that this tourism doesn't occur? Because remember, the child protection person said they're sure they made this policy, they're doing this policy, but where's the money to enact it? Where's the money? They do that here though. They'll pass the law, but they won't give you no money to enforce the law. So they're saying, where's the money? They're saying the UK, this is so bad that the UK people need to give us money. They need to give us money to help get this under control. That's how bad they're saying this is. Yeah. So how are they going to enforce it? Because from what I see, they need police on the beach because that's where it goes down at. They need a special police section. They need a special prosecutor section. They need a special judge just for sex tourism. And once you prosecute one person, honey, that's going to be all it takes. Because once the word get out, it's going to stop. That's my prediction. So when do you think we will see the change in the tourists coming to the Gambia? I think we're going to see it right away because I think the grannies I think they made a mad. I think the sex tourism tourists feel like they have put so much money into this Gambian economy that how dare the Gambians even complain about them or talk about them. So I think they're going to be mad, and I think they're going to pull their tourist dollars out, and I think they're going to say, now you make it off these new people. But I think the new people are going to come. I think if they continue to do what they're doing, these new people will come. I think once they start getting rid of these people like the repats from America, that's from the Gambia, that's in the Gambia, who's doing all that stuff they're doing, once you get rid of them, yeah, once you make a move on them, it's really going to increase. Because the African Americans really want to come there. But what they're seeing is we don't want to come there with this drama coming up, with these people there who are bullies. We don't want that. With these criminals and these people who try to fight you, we don't want that because they don't know how to disagree civilly. We don't want that. The higher end people don't want that. And the Gambia knows that. So, do you think the Gambian officials made the right decision? I think they made the right decision. We are the Gambian government doing, what are the Gambians doing for its people? Opening warehouses and making jobs. I don't know if you're asking. So that's not like a statement. Are you asking me, are they opening warehouses and making jobs? Well, this video was not about what the Gambian government is doing for its people in reference to economic development, in reference to jobs, okay? We were talking about economic development in reference to tourism. And what is the Gambian government doing for its young people when it comes to tourism? They are stopping them from being exploited by people from another country. That's what they're doing. They're stopping them from being exposed to all types of venereal diseases from these women who are coming there saying, and it's not just women, it's men too, who are saying they can have sex with a different man, a different woman, a different type of you know what, every night. The Gambian government has done a lot for its people when they made that move. They stood up for its people and said enough is enough. You're not using us anymore. You're not taking advantage of us anymore. You're going to just be just like Joe Jackson told Michael Jackson. I'll never forget this. Everybody know I love Michael Jackson. When they was little, Joe Jackson used to take the boys and they would put groceries on Christmas Eve. They would go around to people's houses and they would put groceries on the porch. and they would ring the doorbell and they would leave. They didn't want the people. They would stand to the side so the people could see, who they were afterward. But they didn't want the people to see who they were. Okay. So they didn't want the people to see who left the grocery. So Michael asked Joe, why? Why we don't want the people to see, who we are? He said, because Michael, just because a man is poor doesn't mean he doesn't have pride. Doesn't mean you don't have pride because you're poor. All right. So that's basically what they were saying. Just because we're poor, it doesn't mean we don't have pride, Michael. So that's what they're saying here. Just because we're poor, these people are poor, it doesn't mean they don't have pride. You don't have no right to come in here and exploit them because you have more money than them. That's not fair, and that's not right. So I do think the Gambian people did a lot for their people today. Okay, y'all, we gotta hurry up because we gotta run through Nigeria real quick. Can you define country creation for me, Miss Ed? No, you can look that up. We're not talking about that. I'm gonna keep you focused like I keep my students. That's not the topic. You go look that up. What do you think? Yeah, places and spaces. So we're gonna run through Nigeria, then I'm gonna get off here because I gotta go get ready for my reading job. All right, so look, Nigeria. Da, 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 da. Nigeria. Guess what Nigeria did? 2 weeks after Gambia, Nigeria said, okay, y'all, enough is enough. We will not be having any more foreign models in our videos. You will not be doing voiceovers. You will be in none of our advertisements. Not a one. Nigeria has moved to ban foreign models and voiceovers in all advertisements in their country. This change was announced last week. Nigeria, I'm gonna go kind of fast, y'all, because we got to get off here. We've been on here for over 2 hours, and it's a Sunday night. A lot of us got to go to work. Nigeria is the home, and I still got to cook dinner. Nigeria is the home of over 2 million people. The first country to be known to enact of this type of law. Y'all see why I'm so proud to be, he loves Nigeria. I'm always proud to be a Nigerian because we stand up all the time. Who's gonna stand up? The Nigerians will stand up. So the Nigerians were the first to enact this type of law. All right, and what did they do? They said this new law will encourage more local involvement. They want their young people and the people in Nigeria to be involved in their media. The ban will go into effect October the 1st. Okay? People are saying this law represents a noticeable shift in their country. Okay? So let's talk about what happened. The Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria announced on August the 23rd, they released a statement saying that they are planning on developing local talent. It said it was motivated by the need to step up their actions to get local Nigerians, young Nigerians involved in the advertising industry. Okay, in 2017, from 2021, there was analysis done by Prince Waterhouse Cooper. Okay, that's a research company. This is what they said. They said Africa's largest economy is, guess where? In Nigeria. They have the world's fastest growing revenue generator when it comes to entertainment. Remember, they got Nollywood. Their Nollywood movies are huge. That's a huge industry. Their music, P-Square, Wizkid. Well, Wizkid is in London now. Two-Face. What's the other one's name? I can't remember his name. He won an award, but I can't remember his name. Him. They got so many stars. Their music and their movie industry is huge. Huge. The media industry, even now, Afrobeats, they're being played on the radio here in the United States. Afrobeats is Nigerian music, all right? So the media industry in the next 5 years, this is what they're saying. They're the fastest growing generator. In the next 5 years, Nigeria is going to have in the next 5 years. Okay, they said they're going to grow really fast in the next 5 years. Okay, the ban will only pertain to advertisement targeting and exposed to Nigeria in the Nigerian space. All right, so any space in Nigeria, it could say it's a Nigerian company and it's in England. You can still have the British people, okay? But if it's a Nigerian company, it's in Nigeria, no, you can only have Nigerians in Nigeria with a Nigerian accent doing the voiceover or being the model for the ad. So the industry, this industry, now listen to this. They're referring to an industry, this industry in 2021, the Nigerian media industry was valued at 450 million US dollars. 400, we're talking about oil, people. This is media. This is movie and music. Their media industry, $450 million in 2021. All right. The Nigerian government explained campaigns that are running now that have the Europeans, they're going to let them run. Okay. But any subsequent applications after that will not be granted. So if you're a model on an ad now, they'll let you finish till October, but then you're gone. No more European models, no more European voiceovers after October 1st. And guess what? Nigeria has already imposed a tariff of $250 or $240 for every foreign model used in an advertising spot. So if you have a commercial, you got to pay them $240 extra if you want to use a non-Nigerian model. As a result, marketing campaigns are starting to change. Okay, marketing campaigns have to change. The Times reported that 10 to 20 years ago, if you check the commercials, you would say, this is the Times in the UK, you would say that almost 50 in terms of foreigners in UK. Okay, so this Stephen Babiko, I'm sorry, I hope I'm saying his name right. He's saying that this would include Nigerian brands using, European people. But he said the laws were in line with, the laws have been changed. He said in the 60s that was fine. But he said now the laws have changed. People are changed. People are different. These laws are now in line with what the people are thinking in. He's saying that now Nigerians, young Nigerians, have a new sense of pride. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'm so glad. He says that this new sense of pride, they want to represent this in their media. So they want the Nigerians, the little young baby Nigerians growing up, they want them to hear Nigerian accent. They want them to see Nigerian people. They want them to understand it's okay to be a native Nigerian. You don't have to have a European accent. You don't have to look like a European. It's okay to look like and sound like a Nigerian. That's what they're saying to their people. So he says, I think this law is catching up with the national sentiment. As long as maybe 8 years ago, you would notice some kind of resistance. Okay. So he said 8 years ago, you might have saw some resistance to this. But he said, now you're not. He said, people will tell you that there are about 2 million of us. And we are telling you, and they're saying, the people were saying, it's 2 million Nigerians. You mean to tell me you can't find out of those 2 million Nigerians, you can't find none of us to do voiceovers. You can't find any of us to do modeling. Nigerians come in all colors. If you see on my thumbnail, those are all Nigerians. You see you want a light-skinned one or a dark-skinned one. You got all ranges. All ranges. There's no reason that you have to go out the country. And that's what they're saying. So I was really proud of them. So they're saying the Association of Voiceover Artists are commending the government for making this move. They said they are enabling regulation that favors the local industry, especially at a time when Nigeria is in dire need of sufficient platforms for its teeming youth population. The youth population in Nigeria is crazy, y'all. It's like over half of their population is like under the age of like 20. They're very young. They're very young. So if you don't do something, if you don't give opportunity to those people, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to have chaos in your country. You're going to have turmoil. You're going to have riots. You're going to have everything. So they said, oh, no, we got to back this up. We got to give this to our people. And we know Nigerians are super talented, so why not open the media up to just be? But social media users in Nigeria have been somewhat split, okay? So I'm going to read you what some people have said on Twitter. They said, some people said this is a dangerous regulatory step that would hurt Nigeria. I don't see how, though. If you guys can see how, please put it in the comment section. Meanwhile, a Lebanese Nigerian entrepreneur who's in Nigeria says it's a good development. And it is, because it's going to create a sense of nationalism. And once Nigeria has that sense of nationalism, oh my goodness, Nigeria is just nonstop. To me, and you know I'm biased when it comes to Nigeria, it's unstoppable. I think Nigeria is unstoppable. I think once she gets her sense of nationalism, once she gets on her feet, well, she's already on her feet, but once she guides her direction and she's focused, she's unstoppable. Others have pushed back on the characterization that a ban specifically singles out white actors, noting that the language only refers to foreigners. So some people are saying they don't like it because they feel like it's discriminatory in nature because it's the saying that it's foreigners. But Nigeria can say that. It's their country. They can say, we don't want foreigners in our videos. They can say, we don't want them anymore. They can say that. They have a right to say that. Now, they're not saying it to other Nigerians, but they're saying it to the foreigners. All right, people, what do y'all think? That's all I got about Nigeria. And that comes from Nigeria. That comes from Al Jazeera. And the name of that was All You Need to Know About Nigeria's Ban on Foreign Models. So, people, so what do y'all think? Do y'all think this is Nigeria showing a sense of nationalism? I think it is. Do y'all think that this is going to help Nigeria? Bring more money in Nigeria? Do y'all think that it's a good plan for Nigeria, a good policy for Nigeria? Or do y'all think, like one of the people said, it's going to hurt Nigeria? Going to look at this comment, and then we're going to hurry up and get off here. It says, I'm happy they finally doing something about this problem. Having that rep is a big turn. Yes, it's a big turn off. Exactly. Like she doesn't want to go. Who want to go? Places and Spaces does not want to go. Who want to go there? And that's your reputation. I went because some friends invited me. But if I would have just went on my own and looked it up, I wouldn't have went because that was the reputation. I don't want to go there and see that. I don't do that type of stuff. Why would I want to go? DeVito. Yeah, DeVito's another big one. You see those, but as you see, those artists are crossing over. They're crossing over. Nigeria is huge. Nigeria is everywhere. As you can see, Kiki loves Nigeria is where? In the Gambia. And I'm everywhere because Nigerians are everywhere. So that's all I have for y'all tonight. We've been on here a little longer than I thought, especially on a Sunday. I'm going to try to get back to Saturday, but if you see me on a Sunday, please know I had a lot to do or I was just really tired from work. All right? So I'm going to try to get back to Saturday so we can talk longer and not be rushed. But I know we all got to get off here and get off to work, get ready for work. But thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all so very, very much. And whatever comments, whatever you want to say, keep the conversation going in the comment section. And I'll see y'all next week. Next week, we're going to get back to the repack. Next week, that whose nightmare, whose dream, repack dream, oh God, turned into a nightmare. Next week, we're going to talk about Miss Cher Hughes. Miss Cher Hughes had an expat dream that turned into a nightmare. Y'all won't believe this. She was killed by a serial killer. in Panama. I kid y'all not. We're gonna talk about it next week. She was killed by a serial killer while she was on her expat journey in Panama. This is a sad one because once again, y'all, I can never find no information about these cases. And why is that? Because they don't want to hurt tourists, so they bury the story. And it's a sin and a shame that they want to just sweep these people, these women's lives under the rug. And oh, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all a hint. It ain't just one person. I told y'all this is a serial killer. So it was more than one expat, U.S. expat that he killed. And I had to dig to find out this information. That's a sin and a shame. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. We'll talk about it then. Beautiful.